Good afternoon, good day, everyone. James Hicks here from Hicks New Media. Welcome to another episode of H&M Live. Today is a good day. It's raining in Northern California, but that's all right. It's going to be a nice conversation, so stay inside and enjoy this chat that we're about to have. Rob Balasabas. Man, that's a name that's familiar across the content creator ecosystem. He's been managing partnership relationships at many notable creative platforms for nearly a decade now. Currently, he serves as head of partnerships at Uscreen, where he focuses on making sure that content creators have all of the tools, all of the resources necessary for monetizing and distributing their content. We're going to talk about that as well. So, if you got any questions for Rob, please put them in the comment. Put a Q in front of him. But it's going to be an incredible dialogue, and I'm not going to delay anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Balasabas.
Hey James, good to be here. I'm gonna say good to have you here. I'm so used to being on the host side, but yeah, thanks for
Well,
having
you're
me. I'm
used to
really
being on
excited
the
to
other
be.
chair, right? You know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to be on this side. So yeah, no, thanks for having me on, and hello everyone. Glad to be here.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Want to be cognizant of your time, and I just want to definitely say
No,
thank you for coming to be on the show. I'm in my Balasabas mood. Like I said, I got my hat on. I got the desk standing up today.
oh, there you go.
Um, I'm drinking my coffee, right? Because
Yes,
I know
there
we
you
have
go.
those things in common too. Let's
I love
start
it.
with, before I ask you to tell people about who you are, we'll do a coffee
Mhm.
trivia thing. Tim Hortons or Pete's? That's right. That's
Oh
right.
man. Well, I mean Tim Hortons, if
Okay.
but
Yeah, don't get
but
kicked
when
out of
I'm in
your
well,
own country right now yet.
yeah, exactly. I can't. People, so yeah. But no, when I'm in the States, I do love Pete's. I have
Okay.
had Pete's. Is it true it's owned by people up in Starbucks? I mean, I'm not really sure.
Some of
I don't
the
know where.
original
Some
crew that
originals.
started Starbucks, yeah, and then Starbucks went the way that they did, which is not really
Not
good.
not.
So that's why I didn't mention them.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, I like Pete's as well, man. Yeah, I
I
love it.
love it. Rob, tell the folks who you are again. I try to give the elevator pitch, but your resume, right? Your portfolio is so much. And then from a creator's perspective, if folks can just get a background of who Rob Balasabas is, I'd appreciate it.
Man. Yeah, I guess so. Well, I guess professionally. So in this world of like digital marketing and content creation, way back in the day, my first sort of like entry into this part of the world of like my career was I worked for a digital agency, like little tiny 5-person digital agency. We were building websites, WordPress sites. We were doing like, SEO backlinks and paid ads and stuff, just doing a bunch of things, anything to kind of keep the doors open with that little agency at the time here in downtown in Vancouver. And then I had an opportunity with a friend of mine that was working at Thinkific. And so at the time, I joined that team, that company. I was employee number 12. I was there for about 4 or 5 years. And then by the time I left, we were, I think, close to 130, 140 team members. So really, really interesting part of my career. And then from there, started to get to know a lot of the creator, players in the creator space, and got to know the guys at TubeBuddy. So Phil Starkovich, Jim Starkovich, Andrew Can, Katie, who over there at TubeBuddy, amazing people, and got to know them. And opportunity came up because they were growing and they wanted to, put a face to their brand and grow their affiliate, partnerships, revenue channels. And so the opportunity came up for me there, and I definitely was excited by it. Wanted to really get into the YouTube space. I kind of saw video as a thing, even within all of the digital marketing and all of that stuff. Social media video was becoming. This was like probably around 2019, 2018. And so videos was like, I knew YouTube was going to start crushing it. There's like no COVID yet. I didn't know that this was going to happen, but joined the team at TubeBuddy as the brand evangelist, eventually partnership manager. And then we had COVID, and everybody was
Hmm.
on YouTube. Everybody was doing videos and live streaming, and so it was just a crazy, crazy last 2 years. We got acquired by a company. TubeBuddy got acquired by a company called Branded Entertainment Network, which is literally like owned by Bill Gates. So that's kind of nice to put on the resume. I worked for Bill Gates for a season of life, and so that was a really exciting time. They're growing like crazy, and then I'm really good friends with the guys at Uscreen, just because we're in the same space. We're trying to attract YouTubers and content creators, and the opportunity came up here. Partnership, head of partnerships, and just really excited by the opportunity. Being in the sort of creator space, but also on the monetization side of things. How can creators make money? Which for a long time I've been really passionate about, to like tell creators like, hey, we got to build revenue streams and monetize your content, not just because we need to get paid, yes, but also like I think it's a necessary thing to sustain everything that you're doing. Everything costs money, and
That's a good
so
point.
if you can sustain it, you have resources as a creator, then you can make better content, and so your viewers and your audience and your community will benefit as well. So yeah, so
That's
that's where we are today. Yeah,
okay. And
yeah.
so, and appreciate that, because I really wanted folks to understand that, right? You've been in this space for a long time at different
Yeah, yeah.
organizations, right? Helping
Mhm.
the individual content creators, even helping those firms, those organizations grow and mature in terms of their offerings, right?
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and pause and go back a little bit and talk about the monetization piece, right? And
yeah,
not necessarily just about Uscreen, but again, that
sure.
everybody may fit in that, and then just even your activities and your efforts.
Mhm.
There's more than one way to monetize, and I think
Totally.
that conversation needs to happen, right? Everyone's always looking for that mark of 1,000 subscribers, 4,000
Mhm.
watch hours within a year when it comes to
Mhm.
video on YouTube. But there's so
Mhm.
many different other means of monetization. Talk a little bit about what you have in terms of
Totally.
best practices and ideas for folks to consider.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's definitely way more than, yeah, YouTube partnership program and AdSense and memberships and all the things that are built into YouTube. There's so many different ways. There's affiliate revenues, which you can start building affiliate revenues right from 0 subscribers, right? There's no minimum. There's nothing like that. You can start building courses, memberships. You can launch merch lines. All of these things you can put into place. And so it's very important that you start thinking about it as a creator. How are you going to monetize, and
Mm,
not just simply rely on the platforms themselves, like YouTube partnership programs, the TikTok creator fund. These are all good things, but they can all be removed from you very easily if the platforms decide, hey, we're not going to do this anymore,
exactly.
right?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's this is a big conversation. All the platforms are fighting for creators. They're fighting for viewers, but are also fighting for creators, because they understand that the creators control where the attention goes. The creator controls where the viewers will go. So we're seeing a lot of this happening right now. There's sort of this guy named Ludwig, who's like the golden boy of Twitch. And he recently ended his contract with Twitch, and now he's signing with YouTube. And it's a big deal. This is one creator. And so, platforms are starting to do that. I mean, it started with Joe Rogan going to like Spotify and all
Right.
that
Right.
stuff. So I think more and more, we talked about this at Uscreen on a live stream last week, was like, are creators the new athletes, right? Like creators are starting to like really pull,
Interesting.
like
Okay.
kind of like dictate. I mean, not, like I'm a creator, I
My
guess, but
40
I
time
could
isn't
never.
what it used to be, but I can still get up and down. But I will say that though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a creator. I still tell my James, I still tell my kids, there was one summer when I was in grade 10 that I could, like, believe it or not, I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
I could dunk if somebody
Okay.
threw it perfectly. But now I couldn't dunk anymore. I'm not an athlete. But
You
like
did it
in
once.
terms
It's
of
all
like,
good.
yeah, just did it once. But a creator now can dictate terms of like where can they. So it's like the power of balance, or the balance of power, is kind of shifting to the creator. They can like, well, I want to go here because the terms for this platform is better for me, and so they can dictate those things in many ways, and not be I think last couple of years there's been like this democratizing of content, right? Like somebody wanted to make an indie film, they don't have to go through like the Hollywood route. They can like go on YouTube and like create their own website and get go fund themselves and make an indie film, and be really successful. But I think now we're finding that it's sort of the next like level where even more control is going to the creator of like, okay, well, I want to go here. What can this platform offer me versus if I build it on Twitch versus YouTube? So it's very interesting. I know right now it's like the top of like the cream of the crop creators that's getting that, but like I think that's just going to sort of trickle down into the middle class of creators next in the next few years. So
Right. And see, and
yeah,
that's what I want to talk about, right? And I want to be uh, give little shouts out to the folks that are in the comments.
of
I
course.
see you, Keely. I see you. I
Hey,
saw the
Keely.
thanks, babe. I thought she was talking to me, but then I realized she was talking to Jill. So I'm wearing a hat for Rob. I'm standing up. I'm drinking coffee. I'm wearing a dad hat for Balasabas here. So I'm out of my element. I don't know what I'm doing, but uh, we're going to get into this conversation as well here from Keely, talking about need to understand what a Uscreen is. I've checked out the website a few times, but really don't get what it's all about. And I think that's kind of where the conversation was going just now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
As opposed to looking to, I'm gonna say, quote unquote, those traditional means of, again, always looking for 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, or I know Instagram has some particular opportunities as well for creators, or even monetizing an audio podcast, right? Because podcasting is old, but it's the new, right? So
it's a new new.
it's very interesting how, yeah, the world stopped for 17 months and folks really got a chance to pause and refocus on what they were doing from a content creator's perspective and putting out quality content, not just putting, kind of like we talked about ahead of time, right? Not just putting out a bunch of content every single day because you can sit in your car, use your phone and write and put something out, put a short out or whatever the case may be. But
Yep.
cognizant of your community, cognizant of what matters and what resonates. Do something that you enjoy doing. Don't just put something out because it's the latest trending topic. So
Mhm.
talk about how, again, I guess Uscreen fits into that whole monetization and distribution perspective, because again, a lot of us have always thought about you had to go down one particular route, but you're giving us other options in terms of mobilizing, monetizing, and distributing our content.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really good question. So every creator is different. Every creator is different in terms of how they monetize and how they use different platforms to monetize. Now you can create one piece of content and you can make, you can put it on different platforms and things like that. So I think the first thing before we jump into like what does Uscreen do, where does it fit, I think it's important for a creator to really think about the content that they're creating and how they're going to monetize that. Now there's different levels of how you monetize something. Like if you look at, let's just look at the most basic thing, right? Some people will monetize upfront, some people will monetize in the back end, right? Some people have a bunch of free content and they monetize because all of that content leads to, a lead magnet where then they will put you into a funnel, an email sequence that will try to sell you a course
Mm,
or maybe get you into a coaching program, get you into a consultation call where they'll, sell you on the phone and kind of get you into their high ticket programs and things like that. So it really depends. Now, let's just say most basic for a creator is like they have a YouTube channel and how are they going to monetize? So like you can monetize on YouTube your content if you get into the partnership program. There's AdSense, which is great. Nothing against AdSense. I think it's awesome that YouTube does that. There's also memberships, which is also good. But what will you get? What are you offering in that membership? So I
right.
think it's important. So I think memberships, for example, on YouTube, because it's so like it's very small dollars, right? It's like a small amount, so it's a small membership. A lot of
Oh, plus
creators,
YouTube is taking their cut, right? So
YouTube is like taking 70%, right?
yeah,
And so I think there's not much that you can exchange. If you're a creator, like, okay, cool, your membership, cool. Like, what do as a member, it's just a way for your audience to just thank you for like a video that was already helpful that you created, and they'll be part of your membership. There's tips now, right? One-time things that you can do there. So from there, where do you then take them? I mean, this is like very classic Russell Brunson ClickFunnels kind of thing, like
mm-hmm.
the value ladder. So, okay, cool. So now you're a member paying $5 a month. Okay, on YouTube now they want to get more. Now it's like it's like a diagram, right? So the higher the cost or investment that you're earning, then the more involved either resources or more time connection with you, that you should be
Yeah,
offering to your audience.
because the
So
community now, if they're giving their hard-earned money to you, and again, I apologize for interrupting, but I start thinking about that,
no,
right?
all good.
As you create memberships, and I was just doing this the other day, right? Creating different levels of membership, but it's a time request, it's a time
Right,
requirement as well, right? Either
right.
putting out more premium content, more conversations one-on-one, more access to you personally, to be honest with you, and
That's
sometimes
it.
that can be that could be detrimental to your overall content creation journey and your
That's right.
creativity. So I want to put that out there as well as you keep going. What's going on,
That's
MDH? I
so
see
true.
in the building, Melanie Diane Howe just hit that
Hey,
hundred that just
Melanie.
hit that 1,000 subscriber limit a couple of days ago. So
Yeah.
nice, love it.
Nice. Congrats. Congrats. Big fan of StreamYard, by the way. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So what you're saying there, James. Yeah. So in terms of membership, so as you go, a $5, $10 as a creator is good. Great. I'm super happy that, YouTube membership does that. I feel like we're like ragging on YouTube memberships here. Not at all. Like I love YouTube
We'll
memberships.
bring
I'm
it
glad
back.
that they
We'll
do
bring
that.
it back. We all
No,
got
we'll
love
bring
for
it back.
YouTube.
I'm really glad. So I think it's a good like entry level so that creators can get paid, right?
Mhm.
But creators are worth way more than that, in my opinion, right? Like you should be
Amen,
if you're
brother.
creating. So a next level of membership should include three things, and you mentioned it basically here, James, is like a community, right? I want to connect with. There's memberships that I join just because I want to be in that circle. I want to meet the people that are like-minded, that are also thinking about the same things that I'm thinking about and planning the same things I'm planning. And so the community is really important. Content, on demand content, right?
Mm.
So that's really important. And then, like you said, access to the instructor or whoever it is, the content creator that you are supporting. So access by way of live streams, right? Like Q&A sessions, that sort of thing. That's sort of the three things that a good membership should have that will keep people paying each month, right? And so your churn, which is people that cancel, your churn rate is really low, and people stick on. They're getting value every single month. Now, so that's the next level. And then from there, if you want to, that can be it. That can be your business right there. So whether it's like, your membership can be like the primary revenue channel for you because that's passive. B, it's predictable, right? It's not like, oh, this month I got to get a new client. It's like, no, like I know I have 100 members paying $50 a month, and everything that I'm pushing, my YouTube videos, Instagram stories, Instagram reels, my LinkedIn post, everything pushes to a lead magnet that eventually pushes to my membership. So rather than like, if you look at memberships versus courses, memberships, it's just like one offer. I can push people to the membership because it's ongoing. Rather than courses, one off courses, I have to like hype it up,
Right.
open the cart, close the cart, deadline 24 hours. It's a lot of like ups and downs. Whereas a membership, you can still have courses, but like they just have sort of Netflix all inclusive access to the courses. So it really depends on your model as your business model as a creator, but those are all sort of like the main pillar if you want to build a membership.
So,
We
so
can
let me
pause
ask this.
there,
So,
but
when you talk about courses, right? And again, I look at those as more the one-offs, right? Again, the things that
yeah.
come within a particular season, right? You'll have a summit, you'll have a conference, virtual or in
Mm-hmm.
person, or whatever the case may be. But again, spinning up those membership opportunities, again, that closer relationship and building up those communities. I guess I would add and ask, where do you feel something like affiliate relationships work as well? Merchandise, just other, again, passive types of income opportunities for your brand, your name, your message, and things like that. Do you roll those into those as well?
Yeah. So I feel like they can work with your main pillar. If again, memberships and courses, your main thing, revenue streams. Affiliates, I feel like is complementary to that. It doesn't have to be its own separate thing. If somebody is investing in you to learn exactly how you're doing something, then they'll likely want to know which tools, which gear, which things, which services even you're using. And so that's where affiliate can come into play. I think it's just a bonus. Affiliate marketing, because I manage the affiliate program at TubeBuddy and also here at Uscreen. A good affiliate partner is a user of that product, right? So it's not like a hard sell. It's like, okay, well, hey guys, if you guys want to learn how to build a membership, I'm going to show you guys how to do it on Uscreen. If you guys don't have that set up yet, there's a link down below. So it's not like, hey, you guys got to, it's a very natural, organic sort of push invite. So affiliates right from day one, when you're doing any kind of content. I feel like there's an affiliate opportunity for
Yeah.
anything. If you're doing e-learning or even if you're a vlogger creator, right? People want to know like which app are you using to, book your flights and find deals? Like there's affiliates for everything.
I'm saying,
um
look at it from the fact we're all on Amazon, and I can
that's right.
raise both of my. We are. It's a shame. I'm sorry. We're there. I walk into Best Buy too. They know me by first name, right? If you can, if you can get an affiliate relationship with that, and the products and services, platforms, tools, and utilities that you use, and if you believe in them, then and if your name will resonate with that recommendation, get an affiliate relationship with that company or with that product or with that brand, and then push that out to your community. You're already seen as a subject matter expert. So if you use an Elgato Stream Deck or you use a Sony camera and you say this ZVE10 is the one to use, get that Best Buy or that B&H or that Amazon link and then share that out. I mean that just makes sense, right? As
Yeah,
opposed to not getting, and there's nothing wrong with getting credit for it. I wonder if folks, and here I go again off the cuff, right? I wonder if
let's
folks
go.
just feel apprehensive to asking for you know assistance, affiliate marketing, affiliate relations, and things like that, right? I like this, Cameron. You're asking me for a particular recommendation. Here's an affiliate link. Sometimes we kind of shy away from saying here's an affiliate link that I'm using. What are your thoughts about that, man?
No, I mean, sometimes don't be shy about it. I mean, you should, people just want to. It doesn't cost. See, the thing with affiliate is, it doesn't cost that person, like the person clicking your link, anything. Like
Yeah.
they want to just do it exactly. Like I'll do this a lot with, even Doc. I'm like, hey Doc, I'm looking at this, this monitor for my teleprompter. Like, can you send me your link? Or like Stephanie Lu, I'm like, yo, Steph, can you send me that link to that thing that you were talking about? So people want, it's like I can't pay you for this, like helping me out, because I've been trying to figure out like how do I do this one thing. I can't pay you, it's kind of tacky,
Right.
but like at least let me use your affiliate link, at least let me get you that way,
At least
there's
let me
sort
kick
of.
you down a couple of nickels,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you can buy that latte in the
No,
morning
but
or
like
something.
I know you won't take my money for like, helping me out, like because it's a YouTube video. But like at least let me use your affiliate link. Like people want to, I think genuinely, most people do, like they want to like thank whoever that creator is in some form or capacity. That's why they do memberships. That's why they do these things. That's why they do like super chats.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid, don't be shy like that you're using an affiliate link.
Yeah,
It's
shouts out.
totally
Don't
all
be
good.
afraid of the super chats, folks. You heard it
Yeah,
from
yeah.
from
Don't.
Balasabas himself. There, I'm not gonna say anything else. But let me let me get into these questions because Jillian's asking good. She says, "I've never reached out to be an affiliate with brands. Wondering if I should." That's an interesting question. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Never reached out to an affiliate. I've never reached out to be an affiliate with brands. Yeah, you should. Yes, I mean, happy to if you're even on the Uscreen side. But reach out to them. Yeah, if you're doing any tutorials, Jill, like if you're doing anything tutorial wise or anything, like reach out, and they'd be happy to do that. I mean, I'd like to speak for everybody, but like even for the affiliate programs that I manage, like we want to create a community for our partners. I mean, partners and affiliates. Again, um, content creators and influencers are becoming, guys, there's so much value in what you do. Don't undervalue what you're doing, because brands are running out of ways to market and reach their target audience, right? And so content creators and influencers are becoming sort of like almost like one of the few choices for brands to market. That's why there's, the influencer marketing is becoming a bigger and bigger like line item on in a company's budgets each year, right? And their marketing budgets, because that's where the attention's going, right? Nobody wants to be sold to.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching TV commercials, or like, people are paying for Spotify premium and like, YouTube like premium. So they're bypassing all the ads. And so as a brand, content creators is
There
becoming
you
like
go,
the one
man.
place where
Yeah,
it's like
you
organic.
hitting it on the spot, and I want to go down that path because I'm going to specifically talk about content creators. But there's a guy who's in the chat here. Man, is that right? This guy right here, this Balasabas guy.
Let's
Shouts out
get
to
the party
Balasabas.
started, right?
Where's my sound effects at?
Yeah.
Golly, appreciate you, brother. Uh, from a content creator perspective, and then Keely, I see your question. We're going to get into that as well, and let him do the Uscreen kind of elevator pitch full on. But let's talk about your journey, right?
Yeah.
As a creator, I want to kind of let the folks hear and understand, how, when, why you feel the importance of creating content, and then the different categories that you do. I know you do some
Yeah.
daily
Yeah.
vlogging, you do coffee blog, you do a lot of things as well. And talk about why you
Yeah.
feel that's important to also tell that story from your perspective.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think creating content is the best way to to connect with people. Videos specifically. I love storytelling. Right, it's something that I love to consume. Like people telling stories. I like that's why I love podcasts. I like vlogs. I like sort of the whole journey of like a story. That whole thing. It's something I'm trying to do better myself and be a better storyteller. So part of my content creation is because it's just practice for me to be a better storyteller and a better communicator. And so videos is what I gravitated to. I'm not a copywriter. I'm very bad with typing and written content. So I've really gravitated to videos and also recently a podcast. And really understanding that. Now I got into videos a few years ago because I started to realize that I want to work with influencers and for my day jobs. And so videos, live streams like this is the field that content creators and influencers play in, right? They
Hmm.
play in videos, they play on YouTube, and that's where they really connect and exchange each other's audiences, right? And so very quickly I started to advocate for the brands that I was working with, like, hey, we got to get on video. Let's be a creator. Even though we're a company, we're people within a company, let's be creators within the company. And that really, I mean, once we started doing that, that really started opening doors, in all these relationships. And it was really fun, and resulted in business and all that stuff as well. So that's really it. And then so we just started creating. My YouTube channel myself is a place where it's just a creative outlet for me, and a way for me to understand creators as well. So being a creator myself. So yeah, there you go. Thanks, James. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Love it, man. And you've got a variety as well, right? Of content that you put out, right? Again, it's either tutorial videos, it's shorts, it's
Yeah.
how
Everything,
to,
everything. Interviews.
it's a little bit of everything, and I love that fact because we talked about this as well, kind of before we went live. You are we're all multifaceted, right? And there's one stream of thought of where you could make multiple channels for each idea that you have. When a sports channel, a technology channel, uh, coffee channel, whatever the case may be. But I'm breaking all the rules and not doing anything the right way or the prescribed way, I guess, to make you blow up real fast because I don't necessarily want to do that. But and that being said, I've got many different topics within my particular channel right now, the way it stands. But at the end of the day, I'm here to educate, entertain, and enlighten. Right? As long as each of my shows, each of my streams has those three aspects from a mission perspective, then I'm doing a good job from my perspective, and it's going to grow at the rate that I want it to. Let me ask you about that perspective, about having kind of a combined channel perspective, because you had
Yeah.
an interesting statement that you made about that, which I really resonated with, and
Yeah.
talk about again kind of a best practice from that perspective, if you have one.
Yeah. So, when I first started my channel, my YouTube channel, I really was just like anybody. Didn't really know where I fit here in this whole YouTube space. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Who did I want to be on YouTube? It's a big question to ask yourself because you're investing a lot of time, content creation, editing, all that stuff. So I created a bunch of different content types. Interviews, vlogging, Q&A, tutorials, all sorts of things about all sorts of topics that I was interested in. But I quickly realized, like, you have to be sort of like, you have to really like be niche down. Like, that's just the fastest way to grow.
Hmm.
Now there's two things to do this here. Like, there's either you niche down, or you can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's your channel. If it's a creative outlet, awesome. Like, create all the things that you want to do. But if you want to really grow a channel, it's got to be really niche. That's just how YouTube really prefers it. YouTube wants to know what's your channel about. Cool, it's about this. Then we know who to send you to. At
Right.
the end of the day, YouTube wants your channel to grow, whether it's a small channel or what. Like, YouTube wants your channel to grow because then they can run more ads, and that's how they make money. And so it helps them to know what your channel is about. Now, it's also, there's a thought here that for me, like, you'll see there's interviews and there's tutorials and there's live streams, but it's content and topics that are for the same type of person, right? It's for content creators that want to understand how to make content easier, faster for them, but also build a business behind it. And so that's really what my channel is about. So I'll talk about a variety of things, but at the end of the day, it's kind of, it's kind of niche down. And so that's really the thing about it. So now I'm just trying to be, I'm still creating a lot more content, but I'm being a little bit more intentional in how to create content faster using live streams and the YouTube editing studio and stuff like
Right.
that. That's kind of what I'm going through right now. But you got to understand your bottlenecks as a creator as well. So for me, it's editing. And so I'm trying to use more live streams, but intentional formats of live streams, similar to what you're doing here, James. Really having a plan before you get into the live stream, so that you can leave it up on YouTube as a public video, and it can still be searchable, and it's still going to be a good experience for the replay viewer. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
Let me ask about a uh, category, right, and classification of videos. Because now here's a selfish question that I ask. I'll say, so 80% of what I do are live streams, and folks, I will promise I'll get into your questions as well. 80% is live streams, but the video on demand piece, right? I see that those actually perform so much better, even though I see that in my analytics and in my metrics. But again, 80% of what I do are live streams. Talk to me about a mix. What do you see, or as a good mix between video on demand versus live streams, and then from a timing perspective, right? Again, everyone has their idea of, is 10 minutes right, is 15 minutes right, those types of things as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah. It's understanding what the purpose is. Like every type of content has a purpose, right? So the tutorials have a purpose for me anyway. I can't speak for everybody, but typically my tutorial videos that I record, edit, and upload is for search, right? I want that to be found when people are searching. I want that to still be relevant a year from now, 2 years from now. Which is, some of my videos are still getting a ton of views, even though they're like from 1 or 2 years ago. And that's the beauty of YouTube. Now the live stream purpose is really community building. I know it's not going to probably be found on search. It's not going to be watched like 80% of the way through by the replay viewer, but it's a community builder. I'm able to interact with the audience. I'm also able to understand who my audience is, so that it helps me think about future content that I want to create. If questions keep coming up, like, okay, well, I should probably create a video about this.
Gotcha.
Things like that. But you're able to connect with people. I think that's the beauty of live stream. That's, for me anyway. I do live streams not to be found on search, even though I'm trying to. I'm trying to schedule them ahead of time, and do all those things, title them properly. The main goal for me for live streams is like you, I think, here, which is community building. You have all these awesome people dropping in regularly, and you're able to connect. Sammy Superstar is here. Sam, you're everywhere.
Look,
I see
let me
you.
tell y'all something. I pushed it out last night, and I was waiting patiently for that one. Sammy's gonna be on the show
Oh
in a
yes,
week, man.
Sammy. Good to
Y'all
see
don't
you
know.
here.
I'm gonna end the year off right. Sammy Superstars in the building. Let me give a shout out. Miss Jillian Morin is in the building. You
Oh,
know
there you
what?
go.
Got to get her on here
Yes.
so she can sing some Pink songs for me or something. But
Let's go.
appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, okay. I put her out there. She knows I'm crazy
There
like
you go,
that.
Jeff. Yeah.
Um, let me dig into this just a little bit more, because I think,
Sure.
again, where we're going is back to that question that I initially started off with, and then the question really that Keely's asking, and where does Ustream fit into this? But I'd be remiss, and my grandma always told me to give people their flowers while they can. And you kind of alluded to this. Rob, you are the one that caused me to get whatever content creation stuff that I was
All
doing
right.
dialed in. Right.
Nice.
You did a review of I didn't even know you were doing a review, but you were on the stream show with Strick and Brant, and I was watching, and my channel came up, and I was like, oh damn, it's not ready. And it was it was about 70% there, if that. But you gave some sound feedback in terms of how it looked, in terms of how the flow was, in terms of what the content was, and things like that. I immediately stood up pretty much that entire night redid everything, just from an aesthetics perspective, and made sure that the content was proper. So I wanted to go ahead and say that out publicly, that thank you for that, because that's what you do, right? You continue to give that information to the community, which is relevant, which helps us all grow, right? You are that subject matter expert. We all learn from everyone, but I just wanted to let you know that I appreciated all of that information that you provided for me early on in my journey. So
No, man, I'm happy to do that. I think you just kind of, I mean, we're in the same playing field here. But I remember when I started on YouTube, I wasn't even a TubeBuddy yet. Nick
Yeah.
Nimmin did the same thing for me. I was like, man, this guy. He dropped we were connected on Facebook, and he dropped this like link. I was like, did Nick get hacked? Like, why is he dropping me a link on Facebook Messenger? And it was a video he recorded with like Loom. He's like, hey Rob, like just checking out your channel, man. Your thumbnails, you gotta do this, and your like about is empty and like all this stuff. And I was like, oh man, Nick, like thanks, man. I didn't expect it. But he's like, hey, I've been watching, like I see you've been, putting up more content. So I think it was just a beautiful thing. And I try to, do that for other people. And yeah, man, I'm glad that you took steps. Most
Definitely.
people don't do anything.
Well,
So I'm
see,
glad that you did. Did
there's the
something about it.
challenge right there, right? If someone is going to give you some feedback, constructive criticism, whatever the case may be, don't be too bashful, right? Don't be too proud to not take that into consideration and move forward with it. So that there's my moral for the day. Whatever
Thanks,
Balasabas
man. I'm glad.
says, I'm probably going to do.
No,
Uh, Now,
I'm glad. I'm glad you did that. That's awesome.
there were a couple of questions and there were a couple of
Yeah.
messages, and I think you kind of got into them as we were talking. Rich was
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about his channel being more of a DJ of a radio show. So in terms of monetization and the things that he can do are somewhat limited, right? Because there are only even certain platforms that he can actually stream to, right? He can't stream copyrighted music to something like a Facebook or something of that. So he's using platforms such as like Buy Me a Coffee or something for feedback and things like that
Mhm, mhm.
from his supporters. What are your thoughts about something like a Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon or there's another one, Coffee, I think is what those
Coffee.
platforms as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, those platforms are great, and definitely for those platforms, I think it's like I said, if you don't have YouTube memberships, and you can't access something where people can just sort of one time, thank you or tip or something like that. That's sort of like that low level, not low level, but like low, cost way to like, hey, say thanks. Here's
Yeah.
for your
I call it
audience.
the
Then
low
yeah,
hanging fruit, right? I mean, just
yeah,
real
yeah.
easy to do, right?
Yeah, real easy to do. Yeah, so I think that's great. So Rich, all good. Like that's great. Yeah, so definitely do that. Find like your audience they want to thank you. So if you always just kind of think of that, because that's honestly the truth. They want to thank you somehow. There's something like the way that we are built as humans. Like we don't want to owe people. So it's
Yes.
like, hey, you did something
Yeah.
for me. How can I like what can I do? So
That's a
uh,
really good point, man. That's a really just don't be apprehensive, right? You're out here sharing
yeah,
information, sharing knowledge, and people want to support you, right? If you're
yeah,
giving
yeah,
value, then folks do want to support you, and don't be so apprehensive about that. I love that. I love that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
now bringing it back, we've talked about all the. So there was some method behind this madness. So bringing it all back, we've talked about these other platforms. We talk about how content creators can utilize all of these different types of platforms. But you mentioned a handful of capabilities within Uscreen. So talk about this because again, I wanted to get back to this right here. Keely says she has a membership. She's got affiliate links all over the place. I still need that elevator pitch of what Uscreen does in all of the spaces that they provide. So, is it places to host videos? Is it places to host a membership, a community, things like that? And then kind of piggybacking on that, does Uscreen replace live streaming on YouTube?
Does Uscreen replace live streaming on YouTube? That's a really good question, actually. Yes and no. I've been saying this a couple times. It really depends on your business model as a creator. There's a lot of Uscreen users that they will stream on YouTube, but then they'll do more in depth, streaming and ask me anything AMA sessions inside of their Uscreen platform for their members. So you can to stream inside of Uscreen, the platform itself in your account. You can use Ecamm, you can use StreamYard, inside. So rather than like streaming to YouTube, you'll use your RTMP and you will stream
Okay.
inside of your Uscreen platform. So that's to give you an idea. So basically, just I guess like to lay the foundation on what Uscreen. So Uscreen basically is a platform where you can build courses, memberships, and you can sell your videos through there, similar to what like a Netflix. So think of like the end product being something like Netflix, right? So there's a bunch of different industries and niches that use Uscreen, music teachers, kids
Hmm.
entertainment, fitness studios, e-learning, all sorts. And they can sell their videos online by building memberships or, selling one-off courses inside of Uscreen, inside of their, Uscreen sites. So subscriptions and that sort of thing. You can even rent out your videos. So somebody just wants to access your videos for a month or 3 months, then you can also rent it to them if
That's
they don't want to
interesting.
go
Okay.
the full membership as well. So the next level with that is like you can build a web-based, you can build a website, like a course website or a membership website. But then we can also take that and also build, an app for Roku or Android or, your Apple, so you can build an app. So that's sort of the next level where people are consuming your content
Hmm.
on your own branded app. And so that's where sort of the next level with content creators, who they're taking it. And so this whole thing, I guess, where there's a question, James, of like, where does Uscreen fit into everything here, right? Where
Yeah,
do we fit?
because
So
I'm over here scratching my head, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
seeing, and it's a good thing though, and I'm seeing comments coming in like from Melanie saying, is it like Kajabi, right?
sure,
So
yes,
I'm trying to see all of these parallels. I'm thinking Kajabi, I'm thinking Mighty Networks, I'm thinking
yes,
Group App,
yes,
I'm thinking uh, Pody, all of these different platforms that do similar but different types of things.
yep,
Um, I'm not necessarily going to ask you what the value proposition of Uscreen is, because right, obviously you'd give Uscreen more green check marks than any of the other ones,
yeah.
but we're talking along the same type of path, right? Again, all of these
Uh-huh.
platforms provide something, but where do you let me go ahead and let you answer that question. I don't want to just put it out there and say which one you think is best, but again,
Yeah.
when we have the matrix and we're saying the Pody versus Mighty versus Kajabi versus this and this,
Mhm.
what is that value proposition
Yeah.
for Uscreen?
Yeah. So before we talk Uscreen, I think like in terms of what is a platform like Uscreen. So yes, we're in the same space as Kajabi and Teachable and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer Melanie's question, it's a good question. The next thing is like, what is the purpose of that? So the purpose of that is right now we are, you get this word, this quote that you'll hear on live streams and virtual summits, like, don't build your business on rented land. And so that's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And so that's the first thing. As a creator, like you want to take the audience that you're building and the attention that you're building on these platforms, and you want to take them somewhere where you get their email address, you have direct access to them, and if there's anything that changes on these platforms, your business is not affected, right? If something happens to YouTube and you rely on AdSense, then if one day something happens, your channel gets 3 copyright strikes or whatever,
You're
um,
gone.
you know, you're done, like everything that you built. And
Yeah,
so even memberships, like it's awesome, but like you don't necessarily get the email addresses and things like that. And so you want to take them off somehow, so one of these platforms. And so that's kind of where we're at. And so you want to build that, and you want to give that experience to somebody that wants to really invest in your content, be a member, to have a place where they can consume your content. They can also be part of your community and also have access to you. And you want to use a platform like Uscreen so that, yes, you can monetize that content. You can monetize that side of things. And so going back to the question, does it replace YouTube? It's never going to replace YouTube. We are a tool that goes hand in hand, because a lot of creators will use Uscreen, but they're still uploading and creating content on YouTube and all the different platforms. It's just a way for them to say, if you want to take the next step with me and really learn and invest and understand what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, then here's my membership,
I got you.
and that's where it
I
goes.
think
Yeah,
it's essentially that community tab or that community option that you get, I believe, now when you have 500 subscribers. But
yeah,
instead of it being on that rented land, right, on that YouTube side, now you pull that off into another location where you really control everything top to bottom, A to Z, so to speak. Is that
exactly.
right? I don't want to put
That's
anything,
it.
any words in your mouth.
No, that's it. That's it.
You know, but
That's
you
it.
never know what I'll say, right? And then folks will start. It's all bad. Let me bring this up here. So you mentioned and talked about email marketing as well. So is it something that's integrated, right? Again, answering Melanie's question right here, or is it something that you have to build on your own?
That's yeah, great question, Melanie. So there is a way to automate some of the emails. So when somebody does go into, sign up for your membership or your course, there's a reminder emails, there's welcome emails, there's even win back email
Hmm.
sequences that you can set up. You can also create lead magnets. So, for example, if you wanted to do a live stream inside of Uscreen, you can easily create. We've got a tool called Lead Zen, and you can within a few minutes you can create a lead magnet landing page for that live stream inside of your Uscreen account, and you can share that and then go live, and then people attend that. It will start an email sequence to get them to sign up for your membership. So it does some of those things. Now it won't replace, Active Campaign or Mailchimp or Drip or anything like that. But we do have integrations with those platforms. So you can easily connect, and send. We also have connections with or an integration with Zapier. So no
Okay.
matter what email
Yeah.
platform you're using, we can send actions and triggers back and forth. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, this is interesting, man. Because again, you're doing a lot of what many other tools and platforms are doing, but kind of simplifying the workflow by having everything
Yeah.
integrated into one. Because you could have easily just done private hosting of videos, but you did that.
Mhm.
Plus, you did memberships, which I mean, a lot of other programs are doing that. I think again of Mighty. I think of Discord. I think of all these other platforms. Because a lot of us, and I've said it unfortunately on a lot of shows, I'm done with Facebook. Me and Zuckerberg do not get along, and I will never get a sponsorship from Meta, from Facebook or whatever, because we just don't. I got to move off of that completely. So getting off of that rented land, man, and getting into something where I either got a lease or I got a mortgage is what it's all about. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Um, Good question here by Melanie. If I can answer that one, yes, you can set up integration with the Zapier, use LeadZen, and then drop them into your. I have one right now where it drops them into I can't talk. MailerLite. So I'm using Zapier for that. So
Okay.
yeah,
And
easy.
Zapier just works with everything, or just makes you work
Zapier is
with everything.
basically
So that's cool that you have that.
the
Um,
glue for everything. Yeah,
it pretty much is, right. Instead of you having to write your own API, just connect into Zapier. But this
that's
is
it.
really
That's it.
cool. The fact that you have the mobile app component and you have smart TV component, right? Because look, if I can throw this on that 50-inch TV behind me, and folks, look, we're in front of those TVs anyway. Talk to me about that, and I guess, and I would assume, and I'll click on the pricing tab in a second here.
Mhm.
There are tiers, right, in terms of
Yeah.
what you get, depending on how you come into the Uscreen ecosystem, right?
Yeah. There's definitely tiers. Yeah. So, yeah, there's tiers. I think starting at like $79 a month, and then all the way up to like thousands.
All right.
Depending on what you're doing. So there's definitely tiers for that. Yeah. Shoot, there was a question that you asked earlier. I was going to loop back to, but
Was it about
yeah,
the
yeah. There's
mobile app or the smart TV integration and how that's done? Because that's
Yeah. So we are experiencing. I mean, there's a bunch of analytics as well because a lot of people now are experiencing. I mean, like me, we watch YouTube and we watch like content on our TV. Like
mhm.
we don't have cable, so we do. So I think that's why the OTT aspect of things for us is becoming more and more. Our users can see analytics on where people are consuming their content on their Uscreen accounts, and so they're finding more and more that those are on TV. That's on TV. So it'll be an interesting shift in terms of consumption for most people. So yeah,
I
that's
love it,
that's
man.
that.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of stuff going on. So let me bring this up as well. So can we create
Sure.
custom landing pages for other lead magnets like ebooks or templates? Great question, because I am actually drafting an ebook right now because this lady right here kicked me in the tail and told me to write one. And is there a blog podcast type of feature?
Yeah. So the first question there, can it create lead magnets? Yes. So you can use LeadSend, Melanie. You can use LeadSend to push to anything. So it can be a push to like your StreamYard, affiliate link. Like you can use that. That can be used for anything. The way it's set up, it's really easy to pick because it's integrated with your Uscreen account. You can easily pick and drop down when you set it up to go to a specific Uscreen membership or subscription that you want to offer, but it's just as easy to put a different URL to drive them to, something else, to your ebook, or lead magnet, PDF guide, whatever it is that you want to use. So you can use LeadSend basically as a landing page builder for anything. As far as blog podcast feature, we do have a lot of podcasters. It's starting to become a thing where, podcast. James, you were saying, podcasting is like kind of like the new, like,
Yeah.
although it's been around for a long. We are, it's interesting how some podcasters are using Uscreen to have like their, private, episodes and things, just for the members only episodes and things. There's also a lot of video podcasters now, right? So,
Yeah.
Sean
Spotify
Cannell,
is
Big
doing that.
Media,
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah. So it's interesting that they're doing that as well. So yeah, we don't have like a built-in blog or podcast. We still do push to, like, we're not going to be a podcast app or anything. We still push to, like, Spotify or Anchor or anything else that you want to use, and also WordPress for the blog, just because that's just a tried and true, thing that will work. And so we're focusing on the things that, are for memberships, for course creators, and those features specifically to complement all those other tools and work with them directly. James, I did remember now what you were saying. It was around Facebook. So this is exciting. It's probably going to roll out in Q1 next year, but we are going to be launching a community groups feature. So then
Okay.
it's going to be similar to like a private Facebook group, but inside of Uscreen. So there's
Okay.
going to be no distraction from Facebook and all the things popping up and stuff. It's like here, and you can tag other people in the, community. So you're going to have your own community all built in. So we're trying to just make it all in-house, for the membership creator. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Still not going to make me come back to and
Yeah.
reinvest in Facebook, but that's a good thing
No, no,
for
no, no.
the rest of the planet. And let me ask this, because it seems, and this may be controversial, and you may not even want to answer this, and that's fine. I just wonder. See, there you go. Right, you never know where I'm gonna come out of left field. Dependent on the season that the creator is in, right?
Mm,
Who is this right for? I mean, is this for
mm.
someone who is literally still sitting in front of a Logitech C922 camera with old Pentium laptop, with just starting out, just taking advantage of the pause time that we had during lockdown, and saying, I want to be a content creator, and just now starting out, or someone who mid tier has already got X thousand number of subscribers, already has a larger community. It just seems like this is much more of a robust type of an offering than for someone who just wants to press record and go live, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a really good question, man. You didn't send me that one ahead of time,
I
but
did. I told, man, you don't know where I'm
I'm just
coming from, brother. No one. I
I'm
don't
just
even know
totally
where I'm coming
joking.
from half the time.
Oh
So
no,
just jump
no,
on
I'm
board,
totally
brother, and ride
no,
the
I appreciate
wave.
ride the wave. No, I appreciate the question. I think, I'm going to be super truthful. Uscreen, just like any platform, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
I think it is definitely geared more towards, and this is a hard question because there's always like exceptions,
Mm-hmm.
but to be truthful, I think it's more for, it sounds like, Melanie, for with all the questions Melanie has, she understands what she's doing and she really understands the offering she
Yeah,
has.
she's no
It's
joke.
for
You need to
somebody.
Google her, man. She's no joke.
No, I know Melanie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so it's definitely like somebody that is a little bit more advanced in their
Mm-hmm.
content creation and really like, okay, like now I'm really serious about the business side of things. And so that's really, I think, who it's for. It's a little bit more of a, it's not for somebody that's just starting their YouTube channel today and has zero audience. So it's somebody that understands content creation and now really wants to take it to the next level and like, okay, I'm going to create content that's free, but also content that's going to be paid and that's value for me, because that, I have value as a content creator, what I'm going to share, and really ready to invest in, building a community and putting time and resources into that. So yes, that's what it's for. Now there's exceptions because I was going through, there's this guy named Jason David, his site is My Tribe. You guys can look him up, but like in a matter of, I think, like 6 months that having Uscreen, he did already have a YouTube channel, but now I think, he has a video from a while ago, what he talked about it, what he's making like $50,000 a month just on his Uscreen site. So, I mean,
Is that
that can
Jason
snowball,
David
right?
music? I don't want to.
Jason, Yeah, Jason David My Tribe is his channel My Tribe. So he actually has a really smaller, relatively smaller YouTube channel. That's because
Okay.
he's got content all on YouTube. I mean, all on Uscreen. That's where it's all you can consume it.
Okay,
So
so when I'm pulling this up right here and I see again my tribe videos, this is only a subset of what he's offering. Everything
yeah,
else
yeah,
is
yeah,
on. Interesting. Okay, so he's found a better niche, a better venue platform for his content by actually having his own membership that he owns the land as opposed to renting it from Google/YouTube. Okay,
yeah,
that's an
yeah,
interesting
yeah.
perspective. Okay,
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because then
yeah, because
he
I
has
saw
his
this
full
one and I didn't
videos.
know if I wanted to click on this one right
Yeah, no,
here.
no, 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 that's not it. That's not it.
not that kind of show,
Demonetized
folks.
right away. Yeah, no. Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting. Again, it's like sort of the strategy is that all the full videos are on Uscreen behind a paywall, and then he shares little trailers on YouTube, and he gets 10, 20 people signing up each day. So, I mean, it's yeah. So again, going back to your question, it's more for somebody that's really sort of advanced in their creator journey and their creator career. But there's always exceptions, right? If you have a good solid plan, then you can definitely do it. Now, it also is like not just for YouTubers, but also somebody that has an audience on other platforms where, I mean, I think of all the platforms, YouTube makes monetizing built in, it's like the most advanced in terms of monetizing with
Hmm.
built in features, like with AdSense and all that. Man, if you're on Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn, if you're a creator with a big following there, it's even harder to monetize. And
Yes.
so that's where a platform like Uscreen would be even more beneficial because you're already not getting the AdSense kind of revenue there. So
That
yeah,
speaks to me selfishly because I just recently decided I got to leave TikTok. I can't figure it out, and every time I log on, I push something out there, but every time I log on, all I see are the dances, and I see things that I'm like, I don't. Some of the stuff I'm not ready for, right? So
yeah,
I've decided that is not in my wheelhouse. I can't be everywhere all the time. So that this
no.
is a very interesting perspective and a way to look. Let me bring up. I'm loving the questions. Appreciate everyone asking the questions and contributing to this conversation. Look, not every day do you get someone like a Rob Balasabas on the
Oh,
on
come
the
on.
horn. So I'm definitely humbled by this. But Jill was asking the question too. She says, "I have a split audience for sure, so having a platform separate from this channel is important to me. The management of both of those environments. How are there hooks into all of those other platforms through Ustream, or how does one kind of control from a workflow perspective, right? I create a piece of content and I want it to go to YouTube, to Instagram, to Ustream. How do I manage that workflow?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it again depends what you're monetizing and depends how you're using the free platforms. Like, I mean, James, what you're saying, maybe I need to give up TikTok, because it's, I've given it a fair try. Like, I think it's also important to make sure that you give it a proper try. Like all these platforms,
Yeah.
there's people on TikTok and LinkedIn. It's not for everybody, but some people are having a real success with it. And so I think you got to make sure that you're intentional with the content you're creating, even if it's just on YouTube. What are you creating on YouTube? What is that piece of content supposed to do? Is it supposed to be found on search?
Mm.
Is it supposed to build community so you can direct them to something else? Your buy me a coffee or whatever, get them to book a consulting call with you. What is it supposed to do? And so if you don't have the plan, if you don't know, then you got to just take a step back and say, well, okay, well, what am I doing?
I
What is
like that.
what
No,
is
that's
my
good, man.
funnel? What is my funnel with my content? And then create the content that fits in that funnel, because not every piece of content is the same. Some content is for top of the funnel. Some of them is like, okay, I'm comparing now, like, should I go with you or my competitor? Consideration stage. And then some content is like, all right, it's time to go, like it's time to commit and it's time to buy, so let's make a decision. And so that bottom of the funnel content is important as well. So that might be where your live streams happen. The top of the funnel stuff is where more it's like recorded content on YouTube, searchable content, more wider net. And then as you bring them down the funnel. And so, yeah, I think, Jill, great question. It's a big question for a lot of people. You may also want to, once you have this plan in place and really think about your content, and what you're doing, it's easier to then see, okay, well, this part I can outsource. I don't have to do the editing. I can find an editor.
Good
The
point.
thumbnail design, I can, find that. So having your own, like, sort of, for me, I use Notion.
Mm-hmm.
And so every video, every live stream is the same, and documenting that. Now I can just be like, okay, this part is always a blocker for me. It's always a bottleneck. So let me see if I can outsource this. So very soon you'll have an editor that can repurpose and do all that stuff. And then also a thumbnail designer, because that, I'll spend time on thumbnails and I don't need to, right? Because you can template those things. So yeah, you can either take work away from yourself by being really streamlined and more simplified with what you're doing, or you can like stay the same and just hire, outsource some of the tasks, so that you can be more productive. And then your time is focused on the things that, are things that, like, you couldn't hire somebody to do. It's like
Right.
only
That
you can do that.
resonate and that you want to maintain closer to the chest, so to
That's
speak.
it.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the spot and I'm gonna ask you online right now. That's a great segue into some conversations that I would love to dive deeper with you at another time, right? Because again, that whole business 101 type of thing. What are you doing and why are you doing it? I told you every single live stream or video that I do has three missions, right? It's to entertain, enlighten, and educate. If it's not doing any of those three things, I won't publish it. I won't do it. But we're definitely fulfilling all of those requirements today, right now, with you. But I would like to have that further, deeper conversation with you.
Yeah.
Maybe not around coffee. We'll have a scotch or something at that particular
That
time.
works.
Um, Keely was saying as well. So Uscreen we keep kind of going back to this, right? Again, where does it fit within in the workflow and the work stream? So Uscreen would integrate with WordPress, replace WooCommerce, membership, subscriptions, buy me a coffee, all those types of things. So we really are trying to wrap our head around this, because $79 a month, that's real money. And you do a lot, and you say you do a lot, and it's very compelling, but what are we giving up? And
Right.
no one
Right.
wants to give up anything. We want to streamline the process. We want to make sure that what we're doing is effective for our growth strategy. So again, asking that question, does this replace a blog, so to speak? Does this replace all of those other tools that we're using as well?
Yeah, yeah. So it'll replace, definitely replace WooCommerce and, the memberships that you're already building. I mean, as much as I love Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon and that, it replaces that as well. So yeah, so hopefully that answers your question there, Keely. I think it's my fourth week here, so it's actually really insightful, James. I'm glad that I'm here. I'm getting these kind of questions. I'm just like, okay, this is where I need to focus, like just understanding, helping people understand where does Uscreen fit. So
Yeah,
yeah, these are great questions,
awesome,
Keely. Definitely keep them coming. Yeah.
cool. Because the idea is, well, the challenge that you have is that you are so good, and you provide so many answers to questions that we as the content creators have, that it might be too good to be true. And again,
Mm.
I'm the guy coming in from left field with all these wild statements, but really wanting you to think, not necessarily me to think. Again, this is just me coming off the cuff saying, you got
Of
so
course.
much that you're offering us, and why not go to AppSumo and get something that I can get for a lifetime deal, which is half baked, right? And again, I'm being realistic in these statements, right? I can get something
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
$99 a lifetime deal that's not completely built out yet, or
Yeah.
I can get something that's tried, true, used by people out there who have the 100,000 million subscribers or whatever, and have the large communities already. That works as soon as I type in my user ID, name, and password kind of thing. So
Right.
it's kind of that catch. And again, a lot of us like me, I've been, like I was telling you ahead of time, I've been with WordPress and Automatic, and me and Matt Mullenweg go back, right? The guy, the actual founder of all that. So for me to leave WordPress or to cut ties or cut my activities with that and to focus on a whole different platform for over 10 years worth of textual content and blog posts, you're gonna have to do some tricks for me, man. You're gonna have to tell me why you matter, and what's in it, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Um, let me bring it back and ask again
Sure.
from a creator's perspective, because we talked about multiple levels of creators and who Uscreen is for and who it's not for. Folks, if you don't already have Rob's contact information, I'll make sure it's in the description so you can reach out to him, and he can answer your questions more. But let's talk about folks who are creating content in the new year. So kind of some best
Yeah. Yeah.
practices for folks who are looking to resolve to do more content within 2022. What can you say to these people,
Yeah.
to us, right? I'm gonna be
Yeah.
attentively listening and well.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's really two things made that really comes to mind for me for 2022 for everyone is a really focus on what I just said earlier. What is your funnel? Where do you want people to go next? Like after every video, think about where do you want people to go next? And it could be another video that's sort of the same level of like, hey, if you want to, if you guys are here watching this tutorial on how to do keyword research. All right, awesome. Like now let's go to this video. I'm going to teach you guys how to find the best tags for your video. Could be the same. But also like maybe it's the next step, right? Like, okay, what's the next call to action? So where's the next thing? So make sure that you guys understand exactly what you're doing with your funnel, and you have the content that can then serve that funnel that you've built. That's I think one of the most important things for 2022. I see a lot of creators out there, and myself included, right? There's seasons where I just want to create a bunch of content, and you kind of like, maybe if I just power through building content and sharing content, you'll rise above, and YouTube will give you, favor, and share your videos with new people. But really try to think of that, like be intentional. Maybe you need to create less content, but you need to just be more intentional with the content you're creating, and you may be more successful that way. So I think that's the main thing, for 2022. And the second thing is, already building on this is that, think about all of your different revenue streams, right? There might be something where you're missing something. Maybe you've been talking about a product or a service, or a way to do something, and there might be an affiliate relationship there that you're not missing
Mm-hmm.
out. Maybe there's something with, this is, sponsored by Ecamm. Maybe you've been doing a bunch of Ecamm tutorials and you're not sharing your Ecamm affiliate links, right, in your description, or you're not mentioning it in the introduction, calling people like, hey, thank you to brand for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to check them out, there's a link down below. So start thinking about all the different revenue streams, and maybe there's something that you're missing. At the same token, don't try to build everything. Don't take this for what I said and try to build all the different revenue streams all at once, because then you're not going to have success either. You have build one, make sure that it's like sustainable, it's growing. You've got a system in place to make sure that happens, and then build the next one. So not all revenue streams are the same, right? So start with affiliates, and then start thinking about the next thing: merch line, courses, all of those things. It goes a long way. And then the third, sorry, James, one more
Man, make it
is
happen, brother.
everybody.
It's all you.
Yeah. So sticking with revenue streams, everybody wants that automatic passive revenue. There's a friend of ours from the Ecamm world calls it email money, right? It just kind of shows up. It just shows up. It's just revenue. Everybody wants that, but don't be afraid. Don't kind of, underestimate sort of consulting and coaching, and
Mm-hmm.
that like one-on-one where people are still paying you for your time. That's services as well. Don't be afraid of that, and providing services, because that's good cash flow. It's like a good amount of money real quick, and then you can also learn your craft more, as you build the passive revenue streams behind the scenes, build your affiliates and memberships behind the scenes that are more passive. Don't be afraid of the active relationships that you can build as well, active revenues as well. So I would say those three things.
And those are three heavy hitters right there. Shouts out to Mr. Monty Weaver in the building
Hey,
as well.
Monty.
Appreciate you, sir, for the support and for jumping
Speaking of
in.
sponsorships, man,
That's a bad
Monty's a
man right
machine.
there. That's a bad
He's a
man.
machine, man. I don't think Monty's bought a piece of gear in the last 2 years. I don't know.
I'm trying to get on the Weaver train, boy, because he's doing what needs to be done for sure. And the things that you say, right, people listen to. So, and I think it's all resonates from what Jill is saying here, right? She started paying attention to Uscreen just because Rob's there. So we're gonna do what it says. But you bring that value, right? And again, even though you said you've only been there for a short period of time, we gave you, I'm not gonna say a hard time, but we asked you every single question, even while you were a TubeBuddy, right? We asked you all of those hard questions of why this is better than the other platforms that do very similar. what's in it for me kind of thing. And now here we are coming with the same types of questions, and you're not shying away from them, right? We're asking you because we really want to understand how this fits into our workflow and into our streams. And if you don't have the 100% answer today, we know that you will come back to us. You'll provide a piece of content probably in a couple of hours. I know you got a stream
Yeah,
coming up in like an hour from now, but I'm sure tonight you'll put something out that talks about the ins and outs of Uscreen. But that's good stuff, man. I
yeah,
appreciate you
yeah,
for taking
totally.
the time. Appreciate you for the information, and I appreciate you for what you do. Period. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
because
No, I,
it really does matter, and we appreciate just the fact that you are a good person out here giving us good information. So, tell the folks
thank
what you
you.
got coming up next, man, and where they can find you as well.
Yeah, no, thanks, James. Always honored. I mean, I respect, when people share their stage and their platform with me. So thank you so much. Nice to see everybody here. You guys can always just find me. Just copy and paste my name. I've got a really long last name. Copy and paste it on YouTube or LinkedIn or Instagram. You'll find my profile. We can connect there. Feel free to DM me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to connect. Yeah, any questions you have, send them my way. Yeah, I'd love to help you in any way I can.
I love it. Last question off the cuff because I'm a technologist by trade and by education. I got to ask everybody, what's your favorite piece of technology?
Oh man, what's my favorite piece of?
Favorite piece of tech?
Well, right
Don't say your
now,
phone.
I
Don't you better not say your phone
no.
either.
Right now, I mean, this is we're so shiny objects, but right now I'm loving the iPad Pro, and I'm like making notes, and it's
Yeah.
changing my life, and yeah, man, it's way more productive. I
Okay.
don't miss any follow up emails anymore, and so yeah, right now I'm very into this. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, brother, I appreciate you, man. Like I
Thank you.
said, and for everyone in the community who spent some time to come in and engage and interact with us, obviously, I appreciate you as well. If I'm doing okay, let me know. If I'm not doing all right, let me know as well, right? I mean, that's the only way that I can improve. That's the only way I continue to provide and bring you quality content that resonates with you, the community. So, until next time, you guys have a great day. And Rob, I'll see you at the coffee shop.